Soul Garden. Live, love, be.
Good morning from my smartphone to yours. I'm casting love from the Sirius Toy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. And this is your Tuesday, Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my mission is to stand in my heart and help other people stand in theirs. This webisode is for Tuesday, December 22nd, 2015, and I'm happy to announce that the Great Human Walk has finally reached Step 0, Capricorn. First of all, how you feeling? Probably kind of quiet and a little dead. Yesterday was likely intense. It was step 29, the final tested step. I found from Sunday night all the way through Monday, it was like weird, intense test of everything you learned, test of everything you believed, really in that final hour. And I am just kind of exhausted from all the energy, actually. Today, though, we will get a break. You might even feel a little sleepy because Step 0 Capricorn rules the day. But before I go into today's vibe, I want to explain a couple things about astrology for those people who are new to it, because a lot of people have come to our show recently and they don't know much about astrology. And you know, there's a lot of misunderstandings about astrology, and one of them has to do with how the Babylonians thought about astrology. You see, right now would not be the month of December for the Babylonians. As of today, it would be the month of Capricorn. And that's how the Babylonians actually used astrology. It wasn't a zodiac, it was their month. So during the month of Capricorn, during the month of Aquarius, during the month of... They used the stars simply to be a calendar system, and they used the little symbols, which could have been any stars in the sky. They decided to draw a crab, they decided... And you have to admit, those constellations don't really look like constellations, right? That's because they were just mnemonic devices for the Babylonians to say, oh, this is that month. That month when this is up in the sky, when the sun is juxtaposed this up in the sky, this constellation. And the other interesting thing is, the Babylonians also knew that it was tied to the land. So this is the time of the year in the month of Capricorn where everyone makes decisions. Then in the month of Aquarius, everyone starts to rise up and do new things. Then in the month of Pisces, and so on and so forth. So we are in the month of Capricorn, and today Step 0 rules the day. And before I dive into what that means and what Capricorn's about, let's first start with today's vibe. Today's vibe is going to be cloudy and I think rather introverted. The Step 0 energy is always that way. Step 0 is a weird vibration. It's the only day of the month that Pluto rules the day, so it's the only pure Scorpio day you get, except for when we're in Scorpio. So we get a pure Scorpio day between each of the signs, and that's what today is. So today's about letting the last 30 days die, okay, letting the last 30 days die and everything you've gone through, and in this Step 0, clearing your plate and protecting for yourself in the future. So as a result, it's a weird day. The energy is going to be weird. So I'm actually predicting cloudy, introverted. Now, Step 0 means it's about protection. We're going to talk about that in today's topic, protecting, and how that relates to Capricorn, how that relates to decision making. But I think today it's just going to feel off. So it's going to feel really weird, really off. Your mind, however, will be racing ahead. In fact, although we're not officially moving business ahead today because we're in transitions of the two stories, your mind is way racing ahead. And today you'll probably make some decisions. So the smartass is very fast-paced and very decisive today. We're opening up to passion, and we're now opening up to the right boundaries to manage passion. So I think up until now, as Venus was going through the early degrees of Scorpio, we were opening up to all the functional boundaries that were necessary. Now, as of today, we're going to start opening up to the boundaries necessary for passion. So you're receiving maybe a lot of passion. You might receive some anxiety. You might receive some vulnerability today. Now, as far as what you're feeling, it's Taurus. I manifest energy is what we're feeling. So it's cloudy, your mind's racing, and your emotions are kind of obsessed on value. That could be money, that could be time, that could be being respected. It could be a lot of things. So it's kind of, as you can see, it's weird. It's like we're feeling cut off, but our mind's making decisions, but we must feel valued, but business is closed. It's like, it's a weird day. And then finally, Mars. Mars has moved up now to the high degrees of Libra. So our ego side is trying to get things connected. So you're going to find that although business stops, although it's kind of a weird day, you can't get appointments done the way you want, or maybe things completed the way you want, you will find that you're trying to put things together. You're trying to see the big picture today. And that's really what today's about. Today is really about getting your mind around what's happening next and seeing the big picture of what you're doing. Now, lastly, what we're dictating as of now with Saturn is our core belief. So Saturn's reached step 10 now, and that means that society has reached a core belief. Not society, that's not really fair. Each individual has started to reach a core belief. It's not until Saturn gets into 20 degrees that we'll all, as a society, start arguing about it. So today's going to be cloudy, introverted, fast-paced mind, but feeling a little vulnerable, but trying to feel valuable at the same time. You know, it's a lot of mixed bag. But what's most important is protection. So as of today, I'm going to bring back an old feature I used to have, which is actually a feature I do in my daily tech service, which is called your daily joy quest. I think at the end of the vibe, I'm always going to give you the joy quest for the day. Now, if you're a subscriber, your joy quest is a lot more elaborate than this one, but I always want to give the public like a generic joy quest. And just to explain what joy quest is, very simply, especially on a day like today, when things are all over the place, a joy quest is basically Sensei saying, okay, I know things are crazy, just aim for this. You know what I mean? So today's joy quest is to observe your life and protect it, okay? So despite all the stuff going on, your joy quest is to observe and protect your life. In other words, with all the things that I just played out, if you observe and protect your life, you're going to have the best possibility today for receiving joy. All right? So, without further ado, let's move on to today's topic. Today's topic is protecting your control, the root intentions of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is our I decide energy. It's the part of us that makes decisions. It's the part of us that controls our life, basically. And we all know that a lot of people have control issues. Governments have control issues. Corporations have control issues. In fact, everyone seems to want to control everyone else except themselves. That's the immaturity of the human walk right now, or the human race. And we're working to grow up, but obviously it's going a bit slow. Now, the good news is Pluto is in Capricorn for the first time since 1776. That means the universe is forcing the human race to change the way it controls things. And if you want to know the time before that, it was the 1400s when Martin Luther was stapling his proclamation to the church door, starting the Protestant church. That was a change of religious control. Then in the 1700s with the United States, we had a change of governmental control. And now we have it again. We're going to have a big change of control. Now, Pluto ends the year at step 15, which means when it comes to the human being's control issues, we've cleared the bottom half out. By clearing out the bottom half, I mean the most basic and mundane control issues that are probably pretty obvious to most people. But in your own personal life here since 2010, when Pluto entered into Capricorn, 2010, you have been clearing out all your base level control issues as well. So a lot of people are always surprised to find out that human beings are all together on these things. But yeah, grandmas, children, everyone. When Pluto went into Capricorn, we all started dealing with our control issues. But today, I want to actually put to something on the griddle for you to think about for a while, which is the idea of protecting one's control. Now, when it comes to control issues, you'll admit that people tend to either go overboard and over control, or they go underboard and fail to take control of their life, right? Just like this airplane is taking control of my show. You know what I mean? It's been really loud here today in Southern California. But the point is that I think people go too far in over control and people go too under and under control because they don't take the time to protect their control. They don't think to themselves, how do I make sure I don't lose control of the situation? No one thinks about that ahead of time. Now, if you're a person who doesn't take control, if you protected your control, you would realize that you need to make decisions because you'd be looking out for it. And I think that this is the core issue with people and control, is that there's no protection. So let me give you a couple examples before I send you on your way and ask you a couple of questions as far as control is concerned, of how you can protect your control and be in more control. Most control happens in the decision process. So you want to basically protect your right to make a decision. Like, you have your right, don't let someone make a decision for you. Give yourself the space and time to make the decision. Give yourself the right to change your decision. To me, these are ways that you can protect your control in life, right? Of course, thinking ahead is part of it, but also planning ahead in the sense of, making sure the remote control is by the TV, you'll have control, right? So protection of our control is making sure that we have everything we need, including time and space, all right, to make the decisions and be in control of our life. Protecting control also is keeping people who are controlling out of our life. So when you have controlling people, people who are even emotionally controlling, in my opinion, you got to keep them like a couple steps back, because you don't want to be spending time and energy all the time pushing back these people trying to control you. And for me, it's like, I had to go through protecting my control, and I had to yell at some people like, look, you're not going to change my mind. I'm insulted that you're trying to change my mind. Why are you trying to control my life? You know what I mean? Now, I do want to give you a little fact about control before I ask you the 5 o'clock question, and that is with your natal chart. If you're in my personal Sensei service, in the first 15 days of each sign, so in the first 15 days of Capricorn, I always explain to you the little nitty-gritty details of where you have those issues. So we'll be talking about in your service where you have control issues. But if someone is a novice or even a professional astrologer out there, I'll tell you, find Saturn in your natal chart, and that'll tell you where you have control issues. So that brings us to today's 5 o'clock question. Answer this question by 5 o'clock. Where in your life do you have control issues? Where in your life do you have control issues? And second, how did you come to realize this? Okay, so I'll answer, of course. I think I'll just be very frank and honest. I think my biggest control issues have to do with my creative products. So anything I create, I'm a control freak. I mean, I'm just such a control freak. I do share, but if it's my vision, I'm the director and it's my thing, no, it has to be the certain way I want. I'm learning to chill out about it, though, and that's as I mature myself. Now, my Saturn is in the 11th house in astrology, which means I have control issues with my reputation, and I have control issues with society. It's true. It's true. And even now, I'm going to go on I'm going on a tour, for the next year, spreading love and light. Is that my desire to control society? I guess so. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can always win, but I think it's important to know where we have control issues, because that will give us control. That's a way of protecting ourselves. To know is to protect and to prepare. So think about that till today at 5 o'clock, what your control issues are. And I just will say, too, if you sign up for my personal Sensei service, you will get these little summaries of each sign when we enter into a new sign. But I do want to tell you that if you're in the 7-day trial, it won't begin until the trial ends. All right, and it will start wherever we left off. So sometimes you miss a little bit when there's a 7-day trial, which I'm just saying, always sign up if you can at the end of the sign. Okay, so let's now move on to today's Zen Den. And welcome to the Zen Den. Just a little disclaimer, I cannot do the overhead today because it's starting to get dark, and I'm realizing it's an issue with my schedule changing with the sun setting earlier, so I apologize. I'll have it back tomorrow. But I do want to take this moment, since we don't have the overhead, we're going to talk about today's planets, to invite you to take a moment of quiet with me each day. So you know how I go in and talk to my guides? I think it'd be really cool if you went and talked to your guides every morning, because I bet you don't connect to them. So the simple way to do this is to take 3 breaths together, and we'll do it now. Let me connect to mine. Okay, so, and I do have my chart here for myself. The first thing they bring up is actually Saturn, which is, ironically, control issues, right? And for the first time, actually, in the show, they actually told me to tell you guys something, which is kind of cool, other than astrology. This is kind of information I get usually in a reading. But what my guides were saying just now was that a lot of your control issues are going to come up over the holidays. So a lot of people think that they work on their control issues at work, or they work on their control issues, when they want to. But the truth is, they're showing me is that it'll be around your families, around the people you've been around your whole life. This is where the control issues will come. So step 0 rules the day today, and step 0 is I protect. And today, you're going to find that you might be overprotective, or you might be angry about certain things because they weren't protected. So people are going to be very incited to anger between now and Christmas if they feel that they're out of control, if they feel like they don't have control for things. It's better to observe and watch your life than it is to try to get it right now. Because the truth is on New Year's Eve, that's actually the first day we start to feel in control. That's a step 8 day. So I would say to yourself, really, it's better to observe than try to be a control freak. Today, there's a soul pyramid in Earth, and this started actually last night. And what that means is that whatever you feel becomes reality a lot faster than usual. So, the first area to control really are the basics, which is not letting something happen that you don't want to have happen. And the basics are standing up and being counted for the things you agreed to. So the first 10 days between now and the second day after New Year's is really about us eliminating our root control issues, which is, lack of control of our body, losing control when you drink, those sorts of things. Those are what you really deal with between now and New Year's Eve. And that's really what you're clearing. So as we're manifesting, in the next couple of days, particularly today, it's important to observe if there are control issues. A lot of times people don't manifest something because they are controlling it and they haven't let it go for the universe to let it happen. The only last thing I'm going to say for today, as the sun is setting behind me, is that Black Lilith is at step 13 Libra. Now what that means is that everyone is afraid right now and for the next few days of losing control. And that's actually not related to Capricorn. Step 13 is just a losing control thing. So I'm being told that is going to trigger control issues as well, but it's also making people face their fear of losing control. So the faster you can get your stuff together and eliminate what's trying to control you and get over your fear of losing control, the quicker we can get on after New Year's to actually taking control of our life. All right, that's all it for today. I'm going to try like hell to shoot this show during daylight hours, but I love that my Christmas lights are up and pretty. Isn't that nice? I do want to remind everyone that if you would like to have, in January, we're going to have on January 4th, if you're my personal Sensei service, I will do 12 days of 2016, just like 12 days of Christmas. Starting January 4th, you will get 12 days of content during your personal Sensei that basically give you your January, your February, your March, all through the year. So the reason I'm bringing it up right now is because if you want to be able to watch, to read those texts, you got to sign up by Christmas, okay, Christmas Eve. And I will say Christmas Day, I will be a guest on the John Edward Christmas special. That's available at johnedward.net, and I'll be talking a whole bunch more about it here in the next couple of days. All right, my friends, you have a terrific Tuesday. I will be here during daylight hours. Until then, remember, I love you and live, love, be.